Hello and welcome. I'm Jeremy Werner. I'm the Corporate VP and General Manager of the Storage Business Unit at Micron. Today I have with me the founder and CEO of Lightbits Labs, Eran Kirzner. Welcome.
Great to be here, Jeremy.
Eran, for the audience, even though I know well, tell a little bit about how Lightbits started. What made you start the company?
Yeah. When we started Lightbits, we look of, the economy of scale of the big giant hyperscaler. And we say the vision was why we cannot bring the hyperscale capabilities and know-how to the rest of the world. The web scaler, the enterprise, financial institute. And back then, 2016, we started and developed a new protocol called NVMe over TCP, which is basically extension of the NVMe over Fabric standard. And we took this concept and we built a full solution out of that. This solution basically allows you to scale compute and storage independently to get much better utilization of the flash, of the storage, what you guys, Micron, provide.
Sure.
And get the same speed and latency that you can get from direct attach at a remote access, basically. Over the network, exactly. And that basically the way that the Amazon of the world and the Facebook of the world build their environment. And we say, okay, why we cannot make it, democratize it, and make it available for everyone?
Yeah, that's been a big challenge for a lot of companies because there's so much investment that goes in at the hyperscalers, right? And they tend to lead the way in terms of kind of cloud software optimization. And then smaller companies need help in order to have the same kind of technology and breakthroughs that the large hyperscalers have in order to be able to compete economically with the larger scale players. And I think that's where Lightbits comes in. And around that, one of the innovations, your technology you've developed is LightOS, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what is LightOS? Absolutely.
So LightOS is basically the system, the software, the solutions that we run on the disaggregation storage server. Basically what we are doing, we build a scale-out solution that give you an access to a pool of flash. It can be on multiple server, and we compose out of that a cluster. Now the beauty in our solution that it's totally transparent from the network point of view, can run on any standard networks that you have in the data center. It can have multiple hop.
So this is not a forklift upgrade.
No, it's very easy connected, nothing in the client side, connected directly to the cloud native application, Kubernetes, OpenStack, any virtual environment. It gives you all the flexibility to scale out, scale up, down. It gives you a lot of features like snapshot, cloning, dynamic rebalancing, real-time compression, security, multi-tenancy environment, right? And basically you are still getting the performance and latency you have with direct attach SSD, right? But at the same time, large set of features that give you much more from the hardware and a significant cost reduction because of the disaggregation.
That's interesting because if you look at how most companies deploy SSDs today, they have a server and they put SSDs directly into the server, right? And then you put a bunch of these in racks, you connect them together with the network, right? And you're talking about disaggregating that storage. So why would someone want to move away from direct attached storage? What are the benefits of disaggregation?
Yeah, this is an excellent question. And basically, that was the easiest way to do, right? And if you remember, the way that flash was introduced to the world was as a caching mechanism, right? So you had your server, you have hard drive, And you say, okay, it's so expensive to get flash, and you put one flash device in every server. And then people actually adopt this method, and they build those bricks one after the other and create a cluster. It can be a cluster of Kafka, of Cassandra, of MySQL, right? And then what we came, Lightbits, and say, hey, there is a better way to do it with disaggregation. We make it simple and efficient, like you're running your standard application, no change need to be done in your application. And what is the benefit? The number one benefit, as we mentioned before, is the cost reduction, right? This is why you should do it. The second benefit is basically you detach control or application server from the storage server. So each one of them can actually take the latest and greatest technology, and they're independent, right? So today, if I'm running your application, I want Micron coming with a new SSD, I can flip it. I don't need to wait with the cycle of CPU replacement, which is every 3 years. I can flip it in the most convenient time for me. And then, from operational point of view, if you think about it, the previous method was very easy to install, but hard to maintain. And the reason for that was, let's assume a server fail. There is a tons amount of information within the server. Now you need to migrate the data from one server to another. So in fact, you're holding a lot of server in idle mode, just waiting, standby to capture the new application and to migrate the data from one server to another. And this costs you time, basically your SLA to your upper layer user and application. It also costs you the network. Network is overloaded by all this traffic that going east-west. Instead of going to the storage, it's actually going just to recover a scenario. And you end up of having a lot of SKU, a lot of type of server, because every application requires different amount of storage and different balance between the compute and storage. And what we, Lightbit, are doing together with you guys, what we are partner, is building a storage box, which is a regular server, any brand, can be whatever server type you like, whatever choice of your solution. On top of that, we mount LightOS, which is our software solution, and we build a cluster, and then you can mix and match, you can slice it the way you want, you can get all the feature you get from enterprise-grade storage at the cost of direct attach, basically.
So Micron and Lightbits have been working closely together to provide pre-qualified solutions to customers, right? Can you talk a little bit more about what kind of testing and work together have we done?
Right. Whenever there is a new SSD coming to the market, we get early access to those SSD. We benchmark those SSD in different type of application. Our customer have different use cases. It can be analytic and can be a different kind of a SQL application. It can be messaging protocol. So we benchmark the different application and we know how to tune it for the customer, right? LightOS, part of the LightOS value is that we have a layer that we call global FTL. This layer know how to basically bring those SSD to the most optimized point, right? So customer don't need to think about over provisioning, don't need to think about drive write per day, the endurance of the device. We are taking care of that.
So if I have different applications running in a containerized environment in my orchestrated cloud, I can have different quality of service levels, endurance, performance when I create a virtual disk?
Exactly.
Is that how it works?
And basically on the same storage cluster, you can have together thousands of containers, thousands of connection that actually using the same shared media, when we LightOS actually slice it and provide the quality of service for the customer. And the beauty of NVMe over TCP, going back to the protocol, the primitives of the solution, that we mentioned it can run on any network. It's very so fast to deploy. So you want to provision, a volume under Kubernetes environment. You have multiple kind of containers running on a pod, and you want to get we do it so fast to create a connection. It's not the kind of the old days of iSCSI or fiber channel or any dedicated hardware. All software defined, super fast. Within second, you can get your.
So is it difficult? Would someone need a team of developers in order to be able to take advantage of LightOS?
No, that's the beauty, right? We took the know-how and the deployment concept of the hyperscaler when they deployed thousands and hundreds of thousands of server, and we basically boiled it down to a very easy to deploy application. So within minutes, right, we can get it in the data center, connected and up and running.
So customers are already deploying this, right? You're in production. Can you tell us a little bit about a use case or a benefit that one of our mutual customers saw with your solution?
Yeah, absolutely. So, not surprisingly, the first ones that actually consumed the solution was the finance segment. They appreciate the cost saving, they appreciate the need for speed.
I think that would really make sense that you would see financial industry customers be the first to adopt, because they are very good at running ROI models.
Exactly.
And they very quickly recognize when there's a TCO benefit to new technology, and oftentimes will be first to adopt, even if it just gives them that small microsecond advantage on the competition, because when it comes to that, making that trade, right, every nanosecond matters.
Correct. And now they can do it in a way they can afford it and they can scale it. Another set of segment of customer is the edge, exactly from the same reason, right? Because in the edge, you need a super low latency. The second aspect is the reliability. I haven't mentioned it before, but LightOS provides you the level of reliability you need in the edge, because going into the edge and deploy system, it's something that you don't want to do every week.
And if you have a data center out in the middle of nowhere, you don't want to send people there.
And that's exactly the philosophy, right?
Yeah.
And the cloud philosophy. Everything can fail at the cloud.
Everything can fail.
And fail in place. And you want the system to continue and perform and preserve the SLA to the customer till you have the time to send the technician and to replace it. And this is exactly what we are doing, right? So we create a layer that can utilize a set of SSD and can mitigate the failure of the SSD. If it's a transient failure, if it's permanent failure, we know how to kind of recover in the node level, but we know how to recover within the cluster. So we know how to dynamic rebalancing the data within the cluster, balance it from storage point of view, but also from IOPS, from performance point of view. So we can recover after few hours, let's say, and the system again in kind of auto-purified, you may say, and at your convenience, you can go and replace the SSD.
Wow. That's amazing. I think together we're going to help a lot of customers optimize their data center, deploy flash storage. NVMe over Fabrics is something that's bound to grow over the next decade.
It is a beginning of a journey, right? And I think we are going to have more and more customers enjoying from this collaboration and technology.
Definitely.